how can we distinguish between, because you mentioned communication difficulties. This is to you, Salome. How do you think we can distinguish between behavioral challenges and sensory overload, or even communication difficulties? Because my understanding is if you are able to have a distinction, then you know how to address it.
It happens because we parents sometimes make the mistakes of always giving instructions without letting the child process these questions. So most times when I work with parents and then I try to make them observe if it's a sensory overload or there's actually a behavioral challenge, what I do is I tell them once you give an instruction, you count to 10 gradually, either in your mind or you can count out loud, but then it shouldn't be something that will distract the child so that the child finds time to be able to process it. It shouldn't come in as a sensory overload for the child. Then communication difficulties might also cause frustrations for the child, can lead to aggression as well. And then sometimes the child will not be able to express his or her needs based on communication difficulties as well.
It's so effective, simple and effective. So I think it was a real eye-opener to start to help people understand what life is like and how brains are wired differently. And like Salome said at one point, even something as simple as giving someone 10 seconds just to process what you need to say. I can remember when I first got into working with children with SEN, I'd say the name and the instruction, and say the name and the instruction again. I'm thinking, why are they not responding? And they're just looking at me with a blank face. What can I do to help this child? And when someone told me about my line manager, told me about the 10-second rule, I put it into place and I was like, oh, yes. So, it's so effective, simple and effective. So it's about sharing these tips definitely with others. I've seen proper sweats and hyperventilation and freezing. And then I've seen the child sort of take a breath and then just try to run towards someone as if they're about to barge someone. So every child has a different pattern how that behavior may come out, but actually is all part of communicating. That's what we see behavior as a form of communication. And then once you identify what the triggers are, you can put things in place to reduce that. So